probably be excited to learn that even in the current high-paced technological era, there are ways to slow down and still achieve amazing results. In a world where we are predominantly surrounded by machines and latest technology, you'll be happy to learn that there are some projects that are still executed in the traditional ways. Join me, Evalilian Massawe, as I hold a discussion with Sarah and Greg, members of Konokono Collective, whose main target is to incorporate complex artistic projects by using their passion for animation, skills in music, sound design, video, visual arts, and so much more. Did you know that animation films could be made out of clay? Well, whatever your answer is, I suggest you come along with me for that and much more interesting facts to learn. Thank you for being here. Good to have you. So let's go straight and start with introduction. Introduce yourself with what you're doing.
Hello, my name is Greg Smith from Montreal, Canada, and part of a collective called Konokono Collective that's here in Dar to do stop motion animation.
And I'm Sarah Brown, the other half of the collective, so also from Montreal. I'm a visual artist and also animator, film writer too.
Thank you so much. I'm curious. Let's hear the inspiration behind your collection.
Well, the idea of doing this project actually came from a passion that we both have for animation. Greg has been doing stop motion animation for several years, and I used to do 3D animation and 2D animation at the end of the 90s, beginning of the years 2000. And we had been working on some music projects, and then we thought, why don't we do something where I can really use my visual art skills and we could really work on something that we love both.
Okay, that's very nice. Let's see. I hear you use clay to make animation.
I've been, as Sarah said, I've been doing animation for maybe a little over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And when I got into it, I decided to use clay for a few reasons, because I had grown up as a kid watching clay animation on television. It was the thing back in that day. And I thought it was a really interesting material to do stop motion with. So, it's a little, I guess, old school, but I find it very tactile and very fun to manipulate.
Okay, that's very nice. And with all the availability of ways of making animations nowadays, of course, given the technology, why are you still inspired to use that? You called it old school. So what keeps the inspiration going?
I speak for myself, that I like working with my hands a lot. And I use computers in other ways. In my animation work, but I like building three-dimensional sets where there is depth and taking photographs and doing things that are have I guess a sort of reality, but then they're surreal at the same time. So I like this technique personally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think stop motion has a certain charm where you can just start by playing and moving things around and taking pictures and see how they would look animated. And also, I must say that like working with the clay, it brings out the child in you, and it's something that's very approachable. Like just when you start teaching people how to do stop motion animation, but working with the clay really gets them engaged because they just love playing with it.
Okay, that's very nice. Now I'm gonna stick with you, Sarah. Before you tell me what you have done so far in Tanzania, the workshops and stuff, why Tanzania?
Well, I was actually born in Dar es Salaam.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I left when I was a kid, but I've come back a few times because I have good friends of the family here. And so I think I'm in love with Tanzania. And so the idea of doing a project here was really interesting to me. Also, there's such a variety of artists and they're very skilled. And it's quite different than other art scenes. Like people are very friendly and approachable. So it's really a great place to be working in that sense.
Okay, thank you so much. Greg, let's talk about the workshops that you have done so far.
The idea behind them was to get people working together And there was a part of it that was something new for me even, which was kind of what we call collective animation. We would have the participants in the workshops, we'd all contribute to the creation. And so we would start off in two of the workshops, we started off with a shape in clay. And each person in turn would have a certain number of moves to modify it and make it change. And then the next person would come in and add their contribution, and so on and so on. And at the end, it was a creation, a movie that was actually created by everyone.
Okay.
And so it was an interesting experience, and I think everyone really enjoyed how that worked, because the unpredictability of what happened.
Yeah, and then there was another workshop that we did at Nafasi, which was more for people to play with the notions of movement and speed in animation. So that one was a workshop called The Race, where everybody had characters and they were racing their characters against each other. So it was a relay race. And then the first day we shot the film with everyone, and the second day we worked on the voices. So everyone went into the recording studio and did the voices for their characters. So that was really fun, actually.
And you said part of why you have visited for now is to get to talk to artists and see how you could carry this project. So how's the response so far?
The response has been great. I mean, I think people are very excited about what we're doing. And even in terms of people like Thai Studio who are doing like computer animation, we've been to their studios, we've showed them what we're doing. I think even the young people doing 3D animation are really into, like, they're like, oh my God, this is so much work, and they want to know more about it. So there's a lot of enthusiasm. And I think that for this first part of the project, this is a good sign for us, is to see, if we do a film with artists in Tanzania, will there be a public for this after? So I think definitely there will be a public for this film.
Okay, now let's talk about some challenges that you have faced so far in the whole thing.
I had a few challenges, I think, on the technical side. As you said, we work with clay, and clay is particularly sensitive to temperature and humidity, and so the environment is quite important. And it was a challenge coming from an environment that can be relatively cool in Canada, here where it's quite hot, and the clay reacted to that, and it was a little soft, and was a challenge in and of itself to shape as we had sort of been used to. So there are little things like this that were sort of peculiar.
Yeah, I think also just because, I mean, I've been here before, but this is my first time doing this kind of project here. So there are a lot of things we don't know, right? So we don't know where to find them or how to ask for them. Like if we're looking for cardboard, we can spend a lot of time going around and trying to find it. And also there's a reality that we're artists, so we have to work on a budget.
Okay.
And sometimes it's hard negotiating the prices here when you're coming from outside. So there's been some difficulties with that, but it's such a minor challenge compared to everything that we've had in return.
Okay, that's very good to hear. Now let's talk about what you're coming to do next. I know this was some sort of skimming and all that. So what's next when you come back for the project? Do you have like an idea of what you're going to start with and what you're gonna concentrate on?
Yeah, so we have a period of work that we have to do when we get back. So that'll be mainly like finishing to write the scenario and starting to figure out the soundtrack for the film. But when we come back, we really want to be working with the artists that we've met here. So we'll be recording the soundtrack, maybe some music for the film. We're going to be working with some dancers here. So we're really like working with a team, doing the set design, shooting the film. And we hope we manage to wrap it up.
Okay. Is it too early to say what the film is about? Will it be like a spoiler?
When we came over, we weren't sure what we were going to have as a subject, but now at the end we were looking at the subject of time. And the notion of time and different people's sense of time. So that would be the general. We have to go home and write and refine the idea, but it's going to be a film about time.
All right.
Yeah. And Konokono will be in the film. So we chose the name Konokono because it takes a lot of time to do stop motion animation, but also because we think it's a quality to take time to do things well. You know, the process, it's good to take time to meet people and to gather before you start the work. But Konokono, I think we started playing with him as well as a creature and as a character, and we're seeing him as maybe a magical creature that can make things happen.
So naming your project Konokono is because of the slow nature of a snail.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, the slow nature and the fact that the whole project, the whole clay thing is also a bit slow.
Yes, demands patience, time, and care, and we thought that would be just an appropriate name for the project.
I must say, that's on its own sounds very artistic. All right, guys, thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for coming. Let me wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll keep conversing and talking more and more when you return for the project in different stages.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Konokono Collective members were in Dar between May 26th and July 26th, 2024, where they pursued a residency at Nafasi Art. Among many other things they did during this time, they met with artists that will be featured in the upcoming film. I am Evalilian Massawe. Thank you for listening.